Hi guys, welcome to this week's edition of my podcast, and I'm here with Andy Muto, who is a chef who works with elite athletes in Canada. So hi And, thanks for jumping on the call, mate.
Nice to be here. Hello from Canada, where it's nice and sunny and warm.
It's sunny and warm in Manchester as well, mate, so that's all good. So guys, today we're just going to have a quick chat. Andy's a great guy. I'm sure he's got loads of information to share with you. Well, I know he's got loads of information to share with you. And he's going to talk about his 3 top tips today for athletes and the mistakes that they make when they're eating. So he's going to give you his 3 top tips, and they're coming straight at you now. So before we get into that, and just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you get up to, mate.
Yeah, so I've been cooking now for over 30 years. I've worked in various places, food establishments. But what's changed me the most is the fact that I've had to help people with their wellness. And so I've gone from being just a chef or a cook to becoming a wellness chef, focused on helping people through food to either excel in their sport or just to be healthy on a day-to-day basis. And it's really done without complication, very simple, as you have seen and tasted when you were here in Canada.
Most definitely, mate. So you were a great host when I was over working with Gary Roberts and his guys who in the NHL, who you obviously cook for on a daily basis, mate. So tell us a bit more about what you get up to with Gary and the ice hockey players, mate.
So I met Gary about 3 years ago. Gary was actually one of my favorite hockey players. As you know, hockey in Canada is like football in England. It's one of those sports where we throw chairs, but we can't because they're screwed into the pavement. But I met Gary, and I've been working with him to help his young athletes and some of the top players in the NHL and the hot prospects like Connor McDavid and Steven Stamkos, who's the talk of the town now for coming to Toronto, and some of the other boys. And it's really interesting because they're all under the age of 25. And so having to feed them was a bit of a challenge at first, because we forget that while they're athletes, they're still young men. Yeah, and they have habits and appetites that we have to adjust and help. But it's been a great learning experience, and we've been able to help these boys become successful.
Good, mate. Well, definitely Stamkos was an unbelievable athlete when I was over in the summer. I was really impressed with him. So you were fueling him, mate. So give us an idea. What's your top tip then, number 1, for athletes who are listening to this, and perhaps they're even their parents who are listening? What should they be doing better?
Well, there's the old premise that you have to have, 3 big meals a day. And but for people who are active or athletically inclined, it's true, you need to have calories in, calories out, and the calories to fit the workout. That's why on different days, we did different meals. For example, on a day where the boys were lifting, I gave them a big breakfast of, like frittata or eggs, lots of good protein. And then on days when they were just doing cardio or conditioning, as we call it, we gave them more carb, so roasted fruit with some toasted oats and some sheep yogurt. And this gave them the fuel and some protein to go through that exercise. So one of the tips that I try to encourage my clients and my friends and family to do is to eat a good meal before a workout, 2 to 3 hours before, but not a heavy fatty meal like beef. To have more like a fish or a chicken with some good carb and some roasted vegetables, but then not be satisfied with that. If you get hungry an hour and a half later, have a snack, because some of these boys would eat and say, I'm hungry. Well, just hang on then. Give it another hour and a half, 2 hours, then you have yourself a nice handful of nuts with a banana. And an hour and a half after that, then you have yourself something else, good quality, like a smoothie. Or another kind of fruit or vegetable or some hummus. Yeah. And then an hour and a half after that, then you have another good chunk of something to eat, so that you're constantly feeding the machine.
Good.
It's like remember, I don't know, back in England, the coal was the big way to heat houses, yeah?
Yeah, for sure, mate.
So when the coal started diminishing, you would put more coals on. And then the more coals you put, the more that furnace went. Here in North America, the trains were like that, and that's how they kept moving forward. And those trains moved fast, and so that's how we fuel athletes.
Good. I like it, mate. So be more like a coal-fired train rather than a big dumper truck. Good. So small regular meals is the number one top tip, mate. What would you say your number two tip is that you see most athletes getting wrong on a regular basis?
This goes back to centuries. This has got that you can only get protein from animals, from meat sources, which is not true. Because there are some fantastic vegetarian athletes. There was a Canadian hockey player from the Montreal Canadiens. His name was Larocque, and he was enormous man, and he was a vegetarian. So it doesn't look like he was, slitting the throat of a cow and sucking on blood. Gnawing on the leg of a horse.
Cool. So, I guess the message here is that we can get protein sources from other areas, not just only meat. So what sort of sources are you a really big fan of that you like? So
whenever there's a plate, I like to spread the protein and amino acids throughout. So for example, you have, let's say, a good hearty lentil stew, which has got some great protein in it. And then the accompanying salad will have some hemp on top. And there's a product called nutritional yeast, which is a deactivated yeast that's high in some of the B vitamins, but high in protein. And it's a fantastic, it tastes like cheese.
Okay.
So you add that to the salad plus the hemp, and then maybe you'd have like a dollop of good quality sheep yogurt on top of your lentil stew. So now you get your proteins blended throughout the entire plate, and it satisfies you, right?
Okay, good. What would you say your top protein snacks are then, mate?
Snap top stick. Well, everything has protein in it. Toasted chickpeas are a great source of fiber and protein. I like sheep yogurt. I just wanted to quickly comment on that because, we have a really hard time digesting cow milk because of the enzymes that it requires to digest that we don't have. Yeah. But the sheep yogurt, which is from Bulgaria and the Eastern European countries, they've been using that for years, the fermented milk. And you know what? It's easy to digest, higher in protein, good fat, keeps you satisfied longer. Great option.
Okay, good. I like that, mate. That's a good one. So protein spread out through your meal, not just coming from meat. I like it.
Correct.
And then your third, mate, I'm going to really pin you down on this one. What's your third one?
I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying a lot of this, but with regards to hydration, there's all kinds of stuff out there that people buy for rehydrating, whether it's a bright pink, bright blue, bright yellow. I won't say the brand name, but there's a lot of these drinks that make claims and they have all these things. Really, when an athlete sweats, they lose a lot of minerals, so they got to rehydrate. So people take coconut water, which is good, but there's nothing like pure organic water. And I'm not talking water that has added oxygen, antioxidants, or added protein to it. It's just pure water. Water that comes through the rocks of a mountain is full of minerals. Here in Toronto, we use this water here. It's called Dolomia. And this is from the Dolomites mountains in Italy and Austria. And it takes 40 years for the water to travel through. So you can imagine by the time it reaches the base where the plant is, how much mineral it is in. We use this because it balances the pH level in the body, high minerals. It's a fantastic water.
So, mate, did they have a different label when I was out there? Because Gary was drinking stuff in Italy then.
So the one I'm drinking the carbonated one.
Okay.
I'm Italian. I like carbonated water, but but the other one that you saw is the pink one, which is brilliant as well. They actually this company sponsors the Italian cycling team.
Right. Okay.
If there's anybody who loses a lot of weight in a sport, it would be cyclists.
Yeah, for sure. Good. So your third top tip is good quality water. We don't need to worry about other fancy drinks. Just go for water.
Yeah.
I like it. Good, mate. Tom.
You know what? Eating healthy is not very complicated at all. Our families have done it for centuries. Our cultures have done it for centuries. And so eat smart. Think about your body when you eat.
So I guess, mate, with your Italian origins, I don't guess, I know because I've sampled your food, you can create some great flavors within your meals. Are there any sort of like suggestions that you'd have for athletes listening and parents to perhaps add flavour to meals?
Yeah. So always use fresh herbs in your food. Always. Because it has it has vitamins in it. You know, fresh thyme has iron in it. It's ridiculous. But that's another element that we need in our bodies after workout, right? We need some iron. So fresh herbs, and don't be shy to use things like Indian spices, because in England, Indian food is phenomenal.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I've heard some of the best restaurants for Indian food is actually in England. So I add a little bit of that, but don't always do the typical. Like take your chicken and rather than just add some of the tandoori spice to it. You can add tandoori spice to yogurt and you make a dressing from that. So there's a lot of ways you can get creative in adding flavor to your food without compromising the quality or having to go to a box. Right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, mate, that's great advice. I love that. I'll definitely get on some of them tips myself. So thank you ever so much, mate. And listeners wanted to find out a bit more about yourself. Where would they go to find out stuff about you?
You can go to createhealthyfood.com.
Okay.
And that'll take you, you'll see all the stuff that I'm doing, what I'm up to. I even post recipes, pictures of food. I mean, I'm always available for people. If they want to reach out to me, they can reach out to me. I send recipes all over the place because really 4 ingredients, all you need to eat smart and be healthy.
Good. Mate, and I think I got on great when I was out there in Canada with you because you guys have a nutritionist which supports the program, but most environments stop there and they just leave the cooking to the athletes or to someone else who might end up being in the kitchen. But Gary's gone to the next level and brought yourself in and really work hand in hand with the coaches and the nutritionists and that to create an environment which is optimal for the individual athlete. So my hat has been taken off to you, mate. There's not many people doing it like you in the world. So good job. Keep it up.
Well, cheers, mate. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And yeah, you're absolutely right, because the corporate cooks just cook for the purpose of cooking, right? They don't understand that it's not just a question of the simplicity, but also the taste buds of somebody who's an athlete, who's not used to eating maybe some of the simple foods that their mothers, aunts, or their friends would cook. You know, we've made it too complicated, mate. Pretty soon men will be telling each other, "Hey, how do I make a pass on a woman?" If I have to go to that extreme, there's something not right.
I agree, mate. I love it. Well, thanks very much, mate. I'm sure we'll get you back on sometime in the future. Maybe even get you cooking some stuff up live on camera, mate. I'll be up for that.
That'd be a pleasure.
And we can give some more great information out. So thanks very much. If the guys want to find out a bit more about me, I'll put the contact details on there at the bottom of the page probably about now. I'll put your contact details on there, mate, as well. So I'm sure people will reach out to you as well direct. So, this has been Nick Jones and Andy Muto talking about the 3 top tips for athletes and their eating habits. See you all again soon.
Cheers.